This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Alright, so we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is the Southampton Public Safety Building Committee, and it is September 27th. So for today, since Cindy's not here, maybe we'll pass on the minutes, has everyone had a chance to review what she sent out?
Yeah, I had a couple edits. Maybe we should just pass on it and just pick it up next time when she's here.
That's what I was kind of thinking.
Yeah, nothing major, but I think we should probably just let her make the edits on her original copy.
Yep, that's fine. And then the main thing for tonight was just, just running through this RFQ, the edits we've made before we present tonight. The only, main change was I'd added the dates, and then I had added task 5 and 6, which were the projected operating costs and options for green design. I don't know if anybody had any thoughts on those, or if you want me to read through those tasks 5 and 6. Or.
I just noticed a couple of things that were minor. If you want to look at submission requirements, number 3 on C, it's just this typo. Complexes is spelled wrong.
Submission requirements.
Should be
C. Yep. Okay.
And there was one other discrepancy. If you
What page was that on?
that was on page 3. It's just a spelling thing. And then on the following page, which is page 4, under G, it says a list of at least 3 professional references along with contact information. I think that might be in discrepancy to somewhere else where it says. Let me just find it. I think I highlighted them.
Did we say a different number later on?
Possibly. Yeah, it is different. Under 7, designer qualifications submittal requirements. It says under E, a client reference list with names, address, email addresses, and so that's on page, I'm sorry.
And we say minimum
10.
of 5.
It says 5 there.
So do we want 3 or 5?
But what was under the senior one, Ed? How many references, do you know?
I can't recall.
Yeah.
I think 3 is standard, is it not?
Yeah.
I think it seems like enough, I don't know.
Yeah, I think we had more, but I think we should just make our decision.
I think the senior center one might have been 5,
I think it was 5.
Because I do remember that when Andrew was contacting some of the
You got a
references,
ton of
I thought
them.
he sent out 0.7.
Yeah, you got a lot of them. So I guess we have to decide what's a reasonable number.
We were saying minimum, so they can,
Yeah,
we say at least 3 and then minimum of 5. So do we want to just say minimum of 3 on page 10?
I'm fine with that. I just wanted to be consistent.
Yeah. Good catch.
No.
Well, between all these 10 years, 15 years,
Yeah, that's what
it's like,
yeah, good for you.
I'm trying to make sure we're not,
Confusing people?
confusing people.
Yeah.
There was one other discrepancy, and I don't think it's major, but we asked for 2. In one place it says USB flash drives, and the other place it just says flash drives. Does that matter? Probably not. Is there any other kind of flash drive besides a USB one?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think anybody's going to give a little
I don't think it's
micro
a-
SD from
I
a
don't think
camera
it's
or something.
No, I don't think it
mean,
matters. Yeah. But in terms of content, other than that, I don't think it looks fine.
all right. Anybody have any other thoughts on anything in here?
Nope, did a great job.
Well done, Sarah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on the dates? Are we still good with these dates? RFQ?
But the one that will drive everything, and I haven't looked at it, is you have to put it in the central register a week before it gets published, and they'll give you a publish date. So that's usually the longest lead time. So when it's finally approved, tomorrow I'll go in there. I usually like to have them come back not less than 4 weeks after that. So that's usually the date that I will use to drive the rest of them.
Okay. Sounds good, because I have that. Probably too aggressive then, so we'll have to just see where that lands.
Yeah, my quick guess, I'm thinking if it gets submitted before noon tomorrow, its publication date would be October 5th. I'm think.
Okay.
I'm hoping it's not the following week, so.
And we should give these firms how long to get it, 1 month minimum?
Well, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Okay.
You use the publication date in the Central Register and then go a month out from that.
It'd be nice if we could maintain this execute contract date we've talked about of before Christmas time, you know, because it's hard, you know, at the end of December, early January, it's like everybody shuts down for 2 weeks. So it'd be nice to get something awarded before then if we could.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's hard to like do it before mid-January.
Mhm.
Yeah, because that's gonna push qualifications due to at least November 5th.
Right.
And then interviews at deemed November 10th, which means if we get a ton of them, it's gonna be a bit of work. But I agree, it'd be nice to keep that thing, so maybe we just keep it and cross our fingers and do our best.
Yeah, I mean, we could always, I suppose, try to do the interviews more towards the end of that, you know, slot there too. Closer to the 17th if we need a few more days to, well, we have to review everything and then schedule the interviews with the parties as well. But
So you submitted this to select board tonight, correct?
we're reviewing it with them tonight.
Reviewing, okay.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if everyone was there in the senior center, they walked through it page by page. I kind of figured that's what select board's gonna be looking for.
So, yeah, just make a note that Ed will provide the number for qualifications,
Yeah,
are a few available and qualifications due.
Yeah, we were able to turn around the interviews really quickly. Like, by the time we met to decide which 2 firms we're gonna move forward to interviewing, we were fortunate, actually, that they were able to meet, and they came, you know, in person. Wasn't that far, but Alston and then Connecticut somewhere. But it was within a week, or thereabouts. That was pretty quick turnaround, I think. And I guess if one firm is far and away scores higher, we just had 2 that were very, you know, pretty close together and better than the other 3.
right, okay,
But it's unfortunately right around the holidays, but
it's fine. Okay, any other thoughts or anything we want to make sure we convey to the select board at the meeting?
well, not to select board,
Or
but
just general?
so I just wanted to give an update from the seniors.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
But does somebody else want to chime in about the presentation or anything? No? Senior Center, we had our first meeting with Abacus Architects and Planners last week. It was a Zoom meeting, and a group of us met and came up with a list of, we answered a 6-page questionnaire about, you know, what programming do you have and what staffing do you have and all that sort of thing. It was pretty involved. And sending it off to them. And then we took the maps, we had a file that we all put together. I don't know if it was shared with this committee, but the Senior Center group, I think Audrey Pierce, the 2 engineers got together and they actually took the map from GIS and then they filled in all this kind of stuff. What is it zoned? What's the number of acres? You know, is there wetlands? So there's a file for each of these properties. And so that's being sent to the firm. And then next Thursday, they're coming to do an on-site visit next Thursday. And then meet with the committee at noontime. And so I wanted to let you folks know because they're gonna wanna, I thought it was a lot of information for a short amount of time. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, we have to let the chiefs know. And wait a minute, what about the landowners and all of that? So the hope is that they'd be able to make some site visits and also meet with the committee between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock next week. So Chris Fowles is sending out a questionnaire to the 3 property owners, Gallagher, Labrie, and Marmon Keystone, and basically asking them, Senior Center as well as, well, actually, I shouldn't say too much because I think it's going to be addressed to the select board tonight, to the questions that are going to go to the landowners, and then let them know that that Abacus is going to be coming out next Thursday and would like to be able to walk the properties and visit, you know, the fire station. I'm not sure because I mean, if it's going to be there, it's not going to be in that building anyway. So it's really the site more than anything.
Yeah.
Because the Senior Center, don't forget, they have, the 3 sites are police station, site of fire station, and site of current Senior Center. And then for the private properties, it's Marmon Keystone, Gallagher, and Labrie.
Same.
So the question is, are you as interested in donating or selling to how many acres of public safety as well as senior, like, so just getting down a little bit more detail in terms of what the interest of these property owners might be.
It's a little complicated trying to keep both on the same track.
I know, well, you know, they're pretty close.
No, I'm not saying they're not, it's just there's a lot of moving parts, that's all.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
I
the
just wanna make
seniors,
sure
of
we
course,
all,
have this
like-
massive deadline.
Oh, I
That
know.
they have to meet, and they also have money to buy land, if it comes down to that, so,
Right.
I'm gonna go down and do my other job.
yeah. So anyway, that's where that stands. Abacus is doing an on-site visit next Thursday. And after Chris talks to the landowners, then maybe she or I can swing back to you all to give you a little bit more detail.
Sure.
I think it's more important for the old town hall or the public police than it is for fire, because
Yeah, because they're probably not going to use that building.
it's really the site, it's not the
Yeah.
building.
They could probably use up top anyway.
Yeah.
And Norman Keystone did respond.
Coleman Realty did, and they're writing right back to Chris now.
Great.
But we don't know because it's a big piece of land.
Right.
Are they interested in donating or selling to both? But, yeah. We're hoping that we get a response to these questions by the beginning of next week, so that when, we'll have them by next Thursday when Abacus comes.
Are they designed so that we can use their responses for,
Oh, it's for both.
okay.
Yeah, 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 and I think Chris put together some questions for the landowners. Well, I initiated, and then she sort of added some, and we just, because the communication to the landowners has come from the select board, where she wanted to run it by the rest of the select board to see what else they wanted to ask of them. And then as soon as we get the answers back, I mean, it will be sent to both, probably you and Janet and Andrew, the chairs.
Okay. All right.
It's just that we have this pretty tight
Oh,
deadline
no,
to
I-
keep the senior thing moving.
understand.
Both, really.
Yeah, it would just be nice to keep them on the same track is all.
I know, it's not that far behind. But
No, it's not. Okay, quickly before we go down, do you guys want to talk next meeting date?
Sure.
I was just since it doesn't really make sense to talk about that downstairs, do we want to, I mean, this will get out with these couple minor comments, any comments from the select board. It'll hopefully go out next week. Do we want to meet on the 10th of October? That's actually Columbus Day.
Can I ask a general question? Back to the question about like seeing multiple centers. Is there any value to anybody here to have anybody from Williamsburg come and talk to the committee about what they've gone through? And because right now they knocked down a school and they're building a public safety complex. I know it's not the same kind of community. And is there any interest in anybody in the committee to go and actually have a field trip to see Granby? Does anybody have any interest in doing that? I mean, I've personally already gone to Granby, but I didn't know if other people in the committee that haven't gone to look at many centers, complexes would be interested. Are you?
Yeah, I would be.
I think it's important, so. 'cause
Yeah.
I'm not-
I mean, today I went to meet with a doctor I used to work with, and I was talking about all of this, and she goes, well, let's go by and see our senior centers. So every time I go to one, I see something that was like, oh, that would be a good idea.
Mhm.
Granby's a good one, just
Yeah,
serviceable. I mean, I've gone there before, but I'd go again with the group.
yeah,
And you're choosing that because it's new and it's comparable
Well, they're like
size?
Comparable
yeah.
community
Land
size.
size, population is, we're closest to Granby than anybody.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's better doing that than going to a Williamsburg, which doesn't have the population.
Yeah.
I think you want some of the population
Right.
area-wise.
I just think I just thought, not Williamsburg in terms of the actual site, but I'd be curious to hear, like, what did you do
Process.
for public outreach? How did you get this thing passed? I mean, they just got a lot of money too. And I'd like to know, like, how'd you get that money? They got a good amount of money.
And I
So it might be
believe they had to
helpful.
overcome quite a bit of opposition to tearing down that school.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
that that would necessarily
Right.
be germane to us.
Anyway, so I just thought I'd raise to see if anybody, while we're in this, a little bit of a lull, if anybody wouldn't want to.
I would be curious, is there somebody who would coordinate, do you coordinate that?
I could.
Or, I don't know if you intended to, or?
No,
Chief
I
Muir?
actually thought that Chief Workman would be a better person to do that. And I know you have some contacts with Williamsburg, even if they came to a meeting as opposed to us going there,
Yeah.
just to talk to us about, so.
Process.
Process.
Yeah.
What do you recommend? Public support is the big one, I think.
Yeah, I'd be curious if they would want to come to, maybe if they could do a 4:30, one of our regular meetings, and then Granby whenever, I don't know when would work for them, what works for most people, time-wise.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a meeting just for strategy on process.
Yeah.
And include them.
Have them come, yeah. Would you be willing to
And that-
reach out
and
to
that
someone you
could
know
work.
there?
Absolutely, yeah, sure.
Okay.
I won't, but I won't be here on the 10th.
Okay, well, that's Columbus Day anyway, so I don't, is that a town hall, is that a holiday?
Town hall's not open.
Okay. So we could push to the 17th, we could try and do a Tuesday, what works for people?
Tuesday select board.
Okay.
I'm gone that week, so
Do we want to do the 17th of October?
that works for me.
So we'll meet on the 17th and try to have a meeting more on process.
Yeah.
If you could ask if that, whoever you know might be different.
And then do we want to do a visit to Granby sometime before that?
Maybe,
Or sometime that same week?
maybe, John could just find out when.
Oh, I could probably make it for homestead time, would be
Okay.
my guess, so when would be convenient for us?
What about you, Sarah? I mean, you're the one that is,
I'm working 4 days a week right now, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm off Wednesdays. I just have a toddler with me on Wednesdays.
yeah.
Which
Probably love the fire station.
it isn't necessarily a scheme, stuff. Or I could do 5 p.m. most evenings,
Yeah.
unless I have planning board.
Yeah, so, I'm sorry, when did you want for?
Wednesdays I have during the daytime if we wanted to do like a
Mhm.
business hours. Other weekdays I could do 5 p.m., but sometime between 5 and 7.
Yeah, Wednesdays could work fine. How does that work for anyone else?
How about
who's
you,
interested
Christina?
in going-
Well,
Interested in going, Brandon?
Sure. Wednesday's a good day for me.
Wednesday's a good day? All right, and what's a good Wednesday, if I'm just looking at a calendar and gonna quote one of these days? Which Wednesday? We got October 5th, 12th, 19th, 26th. We have a meeting on the 17th. Do you want to do it prior to the next meeting or after?
I mean, we could try for the when did you say you were away?
well, I can't do it on the 5th, and I'll be away the next week. So if it means a trip without me, I will accept that, that's
Oh,
fine.
we could do an
Well,
evening
yeah, we
too,
can
like
shift it, I mean-
a 5 o'clock someday. Would that work?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we could do a meeting on the 17th and then a day trip on Wednesday the 19th.
That should work.
That would
for
work
me.
for me too,
Yeah,
on the
why don't we-
19th.
Why don't we do that, 'cause
I might be tentative on the 17th.
Okay, that's fine.
And, HGD, emergency gastro.
It's during the day,
Yeah, it's during the day, but they're talking a daytime visit.
8 to 4. I mean, 8 to noon, I think it's.
Yeah, so maybe we could do, that's what I have here, 8 to 1 is what I have.
Do
So
like
one or
two.
two?
Like at 2 PM or 3 PM?
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Yep, either one.
Okay.
That's when?
The
The
October
19th?
19th, and let's say 2:30, we'll put it right in the middle.
2:30?
Okay.
Yes.
In all seriousness, would it be a big deal if I brought a 3-year-old for a
Of
walk?
course
through?
not,
Okay.
not to me.
Yeah, you might have to get a hat.
He's gotten hats from you guys at a couple of the recent parades and such. He's
Nice.
a big
Yeah,
fan.
yeah. The only problem with throwing out those hats and parades is you just worry that some kid's gonna run under.
Yeah.
Oh, to grab one or something, yeah.
Yeah, so we're a spotter.
Okay, we should head downstairs. So we'll technically adjourn. I'll turn off the camera here,
Actually,
but,
you're not technically adjourning, right?
no, I said we'll adjourn once
Oh,
we're
yeah, yeah,
downstairs,
yeah.
but if anybody watches the recording, we're heading downstairs.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Just